Hello and welcome to a new and different project, which is Europa Universalis, if you can read correctly. The third one, for various reasons. Uh, Generally, I think like MechWarrior is kind of wound down to a point where I'm not really willing to put out more episodes there because we've pretty much seen everything and I've tried to explore a few things, so not really that much interesting stuff to figure out there, I believe, unless I wanted to try mods or new expansions come out or whatever. So I thought I wanted to go into a different strategy game, and I kind of started playing this one recently because currently I have an Origin Access membership for various reasons, and this is one of the games that is available there in the Origin Access library, whatever they call that. So I started playing that because I had heard good things about that before, and man, I really enjoy this game. So I thought I'm gonna start a new round here in this game, and we can explore together a little bit. As a heads up, I have already played like one playthrough of this, off screen. So I might on occasion refer to it and compare the game that we'll be playing here with that. The playthrough that I did there was to basically start at the very beginning. There's a couple of different scenarios that you can start at, which kind of take the current political climate into account depending on where you start. Like if you want to fight in the American War for Independence, there's the British and Spanish colonies here, and you can take control of one of these. We're gonna do the Grand Campaign though. Grand Campaign? Not around here. These are just suggestions. We're gonna take the Grand Campaign and play as the Teutonic Order. So now some of you may be wondering, who the hell is that and why are you playing this, of all things? I think it might be interesting, which is kind of, why I wanted to go into what I played in my first playthrough. My first playthrough I actually played the Hansa, which is probably even less known by most non-Germans. Hansa is kind of an alliance of three big trading cities on the German coast. They kind of formed a sort of democratic alliance, and that was mainly built on trade around the center of trade in Lübeck, especially, which probably no one outside of Germany nowadays even knows what Lübeck is and what its historical relevance is. But I kind of started with that, and then kind of built myself a little emphasis on little empire. That while we didn't expand very much in Europe, like we took over the Danish and a couple of other provinces, but more importantly, we kind of took the whole goddamn North American continent, and a large chunk of the Caribbean islands and Central America, and we have a couple of enclaves that I'm not going to go into. But mainly this game was kind of being dominated by being a sea power. After one war against Great Britain, where it came to a big face down with their fleet, I was kind of the actual factual most. I had the factual most powerful fleet on the globe, and kind of used that to control access to things, which was fun. But because I have already played as a sea power and as kind of a trading superhouse that could just, at the end, at the last like 100 years, we could just throw money at things, literally. I wanted to play something else, So why not play a land force, like, the Teutonic Order. The Teutonic Order is of some historical relevance. With some, I mean a lot of historical relevance if you're German. Because kind of Germany evolved out of it to some extent. Like, I don't want to go into too much of a detail here, but basically, the Teutonic Order was originally formed, I believe, to escort and guard pilgrims to the Holy Land. After the Crusades became the mess that they ended up being, they kind of moved out there because it was too dangerous. Because the Arabs fought back hard. So they decided, we have a bunch of well-armed people that are religious fanatics. What do we do? Eastern Europe has a lot of heathens. Let's convert the heathens in Eastern Europe, right? So they kind of settled themselves down there, which Poland, Lithuania, and Novgorod, which later kind of became part of Russia later. But I don't want to go into too much detail there. But which the other people, of course, around here didn't like. So, but we're going to be a land-focused power, and since we're surrounded by people that we can't really trust, like with trust, I don't mean that negatively. They don't want us here. We're kind of in their land, so we need to hold our ground in a way. Not that I think any of these are more or less trustworthy than anyone else. We really shouldn't trust anyone else, to be honest. But we're gonna be in an interesting position where we're not really gonna be a major sea power, because even just to access, the North Sea and from there the Atlantic, we would have to pass through Denmark. And if Denmark says, "Nope, we're at war, fuck off," we're just not gonna go. We're just not gonna get far. So I wanted to play something that is a land power, and kind of my quest will be to unify Germany, which is kind of what historically happened, because the Teutonic Order kind of evolved into Prussia by converting the people that lived in what later became Prussia, and then they merged themselves with Brandenburg, which already exists. Yes, already exists. And they formed, the Kingdom of Prussia, and the Kingdom of Prussia eventually took control of most of the northern states of Germany in the 1800s, and then had a war against France, won that, and said, let's found freaking Germany. So we'll try to do that. Since the game is gonna end at 1821, we don't have quite as much time as history had, but hopefully we'll be doing a better job at it. Like, if we go a few years forward, we can also set a very specific starting date. If we move forward, we can see that the Teutonic Order is not doing too well. Like at 1479, it was kind of reduced to just that little bit. Kind of lost quite a significant amount of stuff. So the goal is to start as early as we can, because we don't really want to, have to get stuff that we already had, So we'll want to really start here, but I actually don't want to start at 1399. Rather, I want to start at 1403, because at 1403 something interesting happens. Let me go to 1403. Notice that for just 1 year. Well, apparently it also is at 1401. Maybe we're gonna also start at 1401. Apparently. At 1401, a little additional state forms here at the eastern border of Lithuania, which is not that unimportant for us, because one of our first wars is probably going to be against Poland or Lithuania. So to have someone else that's basically sitting on the flank of Lithuania that can keep him busy would be, helpful. So we'll actually might want to start there, but like a few years later they just disappear again. So while they could exist even if we start earlier, because of the way that game can just insert and then remove states by revolutions and stuff. It might appear if we start on the earlymost date, but I don't want to count on it. So apparently we can start at 18. Wait. Oh, apparently we want to start later because we get Neumark for some reason, which belonged to Brandenburg, funnily enough. I know I wanted to start at 1403 for some reason. So, well, I already prepared a save game for that. That's basically just the very start, because it's also kind of random what our initial mission is. I kind of started it a few times and figured something that would actually be useful, and not something that's totally, irrelevant for us. So some saves games coming already included. Deal with it. Anyway, we're gonna have a lot of difficult mechanics to go into. So let's start. This is kind of what our world map looks like. We're probably not going to spend much time in the terrain map mode, because while it looks pretty and, more relevant for us, we're probably going to be the political map, because then we can see what's ours, what belongs to various other things, and, we have a closer we have a closer view on what's going on. So right now it's Wednesday, 1st of January, 1403. One of the first things we're going to do is to ally ourselves to Smolensk. They also currently are at war with the Golden Horde, which probably accelerated the downfall because, you know, the Mongols and they're scary. So but we're gonna offer them an alliance if they manage to survive against the Mongols. Maybe we can maybe they can help each other. Maybe we can help each other out dealing with Lithuania. So one of the first things we're gonna do is offer an alliance to them. They don't have any other alliance, and we're kind of in a similar area, so we might as well. So let's offer an alliance to them, which enables us to help them in wars and stuff. All right, there's a lot of things we need to go through before we unpause. You know, it's gonna be weird. There's kind of just frozen here, but there's a lot of things that we need to take care of before we unpause. So, slider. Alright, let's do slider. Okay, there's a bunch of things that I will explain at some point, though probably not now. I'll probably try to explain forms of government when the map just moves and I don't really have anything else to talk about. In addition to our forms of government, which there are various forms of, there's also various forms of domestic policies that we can enact. Basically, we have sliders of various things from between centralization, decentralization, aristocracy to plutocracy, serfdom for subjects, and all these other things that we can, you know, play around. Every couple of years we can move that slider, and being in certain positions gives us advantages. Like if we're heavy into troop quality here, we get basically less troops, and troops are more expensive, but troops are more discipled, and you know, they fight better. So on even odds, and even if we have fewer armies than the opponent has, we might just, you know, be able to win out. So I would like to move that slider at some point. Also, moving the slider to centralization would be interesting. Centralization is an interesting slider because it mainly has, you know, good things the further you move to the centralization. However, when you move it, mainly just bad things can happen. Like, you can destabilize the country, you get a large revolt, or you can get a local pretender, which, you know, is all kind of bad. Some things are less bad than others. So that would be one thing I might want to move. Also, I want to move out of serfdom at some point, because, you know, we don't want to be serfs. So we don't want to rule over serfs the entire time. But I think I'm actually gonna be moving to centralization and hope we're not gonna get destabilized. Local pretender rises, off with 4 regiments. Yay, great. In Varmia. Alright, in order to ensure the glory of a country, we have to restrict local privileges. The problem with privileges is that people get very attached to them for sentimental reasons. Now some power-hungry has to declare himself the true ruler of our country. Many hopefuls flock to his banner because he has promised to restore local privileges. Yeah, alright, so local pretender rebels have risen up in Varmia. And they're followers of Clemens August von Hellbrungen. Thus themselves, Clemens first of Hellbrungen lays claim to the Teutonic Throne. Should he die, the rebellion dies with him. Alright. We already have forces. Strange enough, same amount of forces that that other guy has. So we're gonna assign one of our generals, or our general, to it. And then we're gonna move in there, hope for the best. The chances are actually not very good, because we have more infantry, but they have more cavalry, which is a problem. Oh, we can always reload, right? Oh, fun. That's a good start. Alright, another thing we want to do before we move is convert some people. Because we're a theocracy that I'll explain more about in a moment. Oh, actually, we don't have a missionary, so scratch that. We don't want to move that. Alright. Advisors. Sure, let's see what's available. Advisors are kind of, I might compare this game quite a few times with another Paradox game that's kind of a precursor to that game, but kind of isn't. Crusader Kings. In Crusader Kings, you had, you know, your court of, and there were like 4 people that were a spy master, your master of coin, whatever. Here is similar, though you actually need to hire people, which costs money. We don't have too much money, but well, you also don't have too many options, and not too many good options either. So do we have any land tech guy? No. We have morale of armies, but you really 1-star guys are pretty bad. I guess we're gonna hire the production tech guy. It's probably one of the least important techs for us, but I'd rather hire a tech guy. For now, we can only basically hire our own guys. After a year, they become available to be hired by anyone else, and correspondingly, we can also hire people that other nations didn't want to. So after the year passes, I need to be aware of that and, you know, check the advisor market if I want to change things. But I'm pretty sure I'm gonna hire that guy. Mine, sure, whatever. Hire the production tech guy, which is a scientist, you know. Anyway, the rest is not too appealing though. We could also just create one. Question is, what do I want to create though? I would like to raise government and land tech pretty soon, but also a theologian might be interesting for other reasons. So, do we have a theologian? Interestingly, we both have the natural scientist and a theologian. That would be kind of weird, but theologian. Yeah, let's hire a theologian. We're probably gonna need it. Level 1, well, great. The higher our... oh, well, wait. The higher our cultural tradition is, the better people we get on average. However, probably our cultural tradition will just free fall in the next years. So, well, might as well use it to hire another guy, because I really am not that happy with the other options. Like, I mean, monthly stability investment is not bad. No, don't get me wrong. It's really not bad. We're only at stability 1, but is it really worth that much? I mean, army tradition seems like another interesting choice, but I'd like a tech guy. So let's use our last cultural tradition to hire statesman. I think statesman. You know, I like government tech. You know. So let's also hire a statesman. Level 1. Oh well. We'll probably want to increase that if we can, but... oh well. Anyway. Advisors. Good, we have done that. Then we can also take a look at our income. A few words on income. Most of our costs are going to be paid on a monthly basis, like especially, you know, salaries for advisors and for our military. So we're going to have to pay that, you know, every month. And then at the end of the year we get all the income, like the tax, the tax on production and trade income, and, you know, various other things. So we need to kind of be aware that we will spend like 2 ducats a month, which for 12 months would be like, let's say about 20 ducats in the entire year. So we need to, you know, keep some kind of bank and can't just throw it out. Anyway. I'm gonna give a slight nudge here to stability, because I would like to get to a higher stability level sooner. The rest of the tech can wait. There's multiple different stability levels from -3 to +3. The more we are in the plus in the plus region, the better these bonuses here are, which are minor bonuses, but they do add up. All right. Good. Then since we did hire a theologian, I can just activate this, get a higher national revolt risk, but right now we only have a revolt risk in Samogitia, which we can probably take care of if the need arises. So, but this will decrease the cost and increase the chance of missionaries, and we have to convert people. You know, we're a militant religious order. We were probably gonna convert a bunch of people to the true faith. So let's do that. Get it to up until the end of the game. So that's nice. Alright, then we also have we have 2 merchants. Trade. There's various centers of trade. The only centers of trade that are close enough to us currently are Novgorod, which has 360, and Lübeck, which is 930. Actually, the chance here is lower than in Novgorod. I guess because of the distance. Still, I'm gonna send my merchants to Lübeck. Basically, I'll assign some auto priority to send a bunch of merchants over there. Probably can keep it at this priority. With this priority, it's trying to maintain 5 merchants there, which we will not be able to have there initially, but at some point. So all people are going to be trading in Lübeck. We're also part of the Hanseatic Trade League, so sure if we get advantages by trading in Lübeck because of this, but the Hansa profits, which is not a good thing now. Need to get used to that. Anyway, okay. So other than this, we probably want to start training people. I believe we have no buildings anywhere that would benefit from this. Actually, we also can't because we don't have land technology 4 yet. Never mind, we're just incompetent. We do already have a marketplace in Danzig for some reason, which we couldn't really build because we need trade technology 4, interestingly enough. Really interesting. Alright, I guess we're gonna train troops in Memel. It doesn't really matter, but we're gonna train a bunch of troops now. Like, let's train another army, like one that we have there. You know, all at the same time. We do need to keep, what did I say earlier? Like 20-ish. So we could afford that too. We would be, however, troops don't just have, you know, costs when you build them and when you train them, but also costs in order to keep them maintained. So we probably don't want to train too many people, but we do want to be prepared if war hits us. So let's just stick to 3 infantry for now. I'd also like some knights, but it's gonna take some time before anything happens anyway. Alright, and one more thing we're gonna do is we would send missionaries once we have missionaries. So let's increase the speed a little bit. So Smolensk offered our military lines. We also got alliance offers from Hungary, Switzerland. Switzerland? Fuck off. But Hungary is interesting. In case we get into war with Poland, that might be interesting. And Tver, which I can also get behind. Can we accept all of them? If I have to, if I have to give it a preference, I would take Hungary first, and then also Tver. We don't want to have too many, because when we have too many, we're gonna get thrown into wars like every now and then, which might be an issue. I mean, we could always say, nope, we're not gonna show up, screw it. We didn't sign up for this. But if we do that, people are gonna be very unhappy with us. Meaning they're not gonna trust us, what we say, because we say, oh sure, we're gonna come to your aid, and then no, we're not gonna come to your aid when you get kicked by you know, the Mongols. See ya. So but I think I'm also gonna accept Tver. I'm not gonna take the Swiss alliance. I'm really not sure what the strategic benefit for that at this point would be. So let's take Tver. Alright. So how is the fight gonna go? Apparently we're doing rather well. Doing better than the enemy. That's good. That's a good thing. Ah, come on, keep it together, guys. Battle system in this game is really complicated. I haven't been able to figure out all the details. I'll try to explain what I know when the time comes. Right now we're gonna move to Ostpreußen too, in order to clean up the rest, because if we don't, they'll just continue to wreak havoc there. Still around? They're still freaking around. God damn it. There's a few conditions when an army can just be completely wiped out even though you haven't killed everyone. One of them is if you have an army already positioned where they're gonna go. So you basically cut them off. And also if you have way more forces than the opponent does. Anyway, I think we're gonna keep you at Samogitya, actually. Gonna convert it soon, and even before that, it's the one province that might revolt, you know, because they're not decent Christians here. They're animists. So we should try to, you know, keep him under control, have him embrace the true faith. Because we have a missionary already. All right. So I can explain a few more things now that we kind of wait for things to happen and show up, and you know, troops to be built and stuff. Also for some monetary income would be nice, you know. In any event, so we're the Teutonic Order. We have a pretty unique form of government that not too many other countries have, which is theocracy. Kind of the downside of that is that since we don't have a real monarch but just a Hochmeister as kind of the head of our organization, we cannot do some fancy diplomatic things like initiate royal marriages and then peacefully vassalize someone in order to make them part of our you know, of our dominion. So we don't have that option. It's also gonna in the distant future, I believe it's also gonna delay all the faith reformation chain of events, which is gonna happen at some point. Right now, if we take a look at the religious map, we're all decent Christians here, you know, except Muslims, I guess, in Granada. So that's gonna change significantly, you know, by the time Reformation hits the European stage. Anyway, we have two ready. Let's send that one to who's supposed to attack us. I guess we're gonna just send it to Ostpreußen. Anyway, so it's gonna delay the Reformation a little bit, which is weird because in order to become Prussia later, which I'm aiming to become, I believe we need to be reformed, right? Or we don't have that yet, but I believe if we want to become Prussia at some point, we need to be Protestant, I believe. So we need to. So we will get that later, but we probably need to embrace it rather quickly. So that's a little bit weird. Also, our research is really horrible because in the sliders that we saw earlier, these ones. In the sliders we saw earlier, we have like a really high amount of narrow-minded and serfdom, which just screams, "Oh, we can't research shit." So there's that and kind of a downside. The good side in points of research is though we belong to the Latin tech group, which means that we research things faster on a general basis. Maybe we can help these guys out if they allow. They're also a monastic state, so also theocracy. They don't belong to us. They're just focused around Riga. They're also members of the Hanseatic Trade League, and you know. But since they're buddies, maybe at some point, we're gonna help them out. We're gonna ask for military access. Basically, is we can access the land with troops. And because they allowed that, we can now move our banner in here. And hopefully kick these guys out. Actually, we're losing quite significantly here. Should have brought in more people. My bad. Looks like we're still gonna win this. I guess we're gonna consolidate all our forces. Yeah, we're not gonna get to the supply limit anytime soon, so... Anyway, we helped them take care of these rebels, pretenders, whatever, help them restore order. Also, because we had a fight, I believe we gained a small amount of army tradition, which is really just a small amount, and since it's basically the value is being reduced every year, it's probably not gonna matter much on a long scale, but Well, guys, it's something to do. Anyway, so the year's almost over. After the year's over, I'm probably gonna pause again because then all the other advisors become available, and I might want to hire people, which is probably gonna eat up all the money that we're gonna earn because of the end of the year. Bolton Samogitya, why is my army already standing there? As if I had foreseen this might happen. Well, good job. Alright, so first year has passed. So can we have a better government tech guy, maybe? Ooh, really Navy tradition, diplomatic skill. I'm not gonna invest an additional amount of ducats just for a level 2 guy. It's just barely better. Shame. We should keep our eyes open then. Alright. Alright, so that didn't quite happen. However, we got a missionary at some point, and I'm gonna send it to Samogitya now. Because of the theologian and because we enacted the additional religious policy, we should have a pretty decent chance. While that missionary is here, so we're gonna... Our advisors are being hired out. Stop. We really need money, man. I mean, prestige is nice and all, but money is also nice, because we can afford more troops. Let's put it into treasury. Oh, thanks for the gift, man. Anyway, so a lot of our people are getting hired by various people, which gives us money for some reason, because they were born here, so they have to pay a fee, I guess. Us, which is, good. Got some more money. I guess I can now afford to join another Regiment of Latin Knights. So, check again. Maybe someone switched out their guy. Woo, National Spy Defense. Woo. Crazy. But gonna switch around a lot in the first years because the AI is just gonna switch out people. I don't know how they have all this money to afford doing that, but anyway, let's continue. So first thing that we want to do is get to a higher stability level. Once we've done that, we can focus more on research. Especially, I would like to focus on land research and government. Yeah, I think I said that earlier. Another revolt. So now we're gonna have to put those heathens down again. How bad. Anyway, Grand Captain was hired. Oops. Why are you moving to Riga? Want to help these guys out again? I mean, they don't need to. I don't think it's right that they need to deal with our upstarts, you know. So let's give them a hand. Anyway, I think I was talking about our government form at some point before being interrupted. Anyway, so we don't have the full diplomatic options, which is no difference to me because the Hansa also didn't have them because they were also a merchant republic, which also didn't have nobility at the head of it. So not really something new. We get an alliance because it's bidding against Yaroslavl. What the hell is going on there? Yaroslavl? Who's Yaroslavl? That little thing over there. Okay, so they're dwarfs where? Wait, did I miss something? This Tver is not allied with us anymore. Oh, we're allied with them. Okay, I was worried there for a sec. Because there's some notifications that can be easily missed, while most of the notifications are just thrown in your face. Some rather important ones, like one of your allies needs help in a war and requests your help, is gonna come up as a little small thing down there that's gonna be automatically denied if you don't react to it. So that's an issue sometimes. Anyway, so that's increase the army. Bring the army together at this point. Looks like Tverus has the handle has full control of the situation. They went there, fought, won. Now they're retreating to Tver, fighting again. I really don't need to comment that. So they're doing well. If they needed help, they could have asked. They didn't. So they're probably doing fine. Anyway, so government. Damn it. The diplomacy thing is kind of a downside, admittedly. Also, we're in a kind of a weird starting position where we have multiple pretty powerful people on all sides, basically. You know, I mentioned Lithuania and Poland in the beginning, but also Novgorod is potentially dangerous, and Sweden and Denmark too, because of Gotland that we have, which is considered one of our core provinces, but it's also considered to be a Sweden province, Denmark province, and a Gotland province. So at some point I might also try to revolt, and you know, Swedes and the Danes might also just come and declare war on us. In which case having a fleet might help, because if we have a fleet we can restrict the access to Gotland and we don't really need to fight. However, so far we have 11 galleys. Oh god, we have really the worst fleet I've seen. I know fleet. This is the worst fleet. Maybe we should build some more ships now that we have some money. Maintaining ships is actually not that expensive as maintaining, you know, land troops. Something I could do. I didn't want to do that earlier because we had to fight with the rebels and all and the pretenders. We can slightly reduce the maintenance for our land forces, which we shouldn't be doing if we were in a war. If we are in a war, we're gonna be specifically warned that we, you know, should not do that because it's really bad. But if we're not in war, they're still getting maintained while they're in our own territory, so it's not quite as bad. We apparently have province decisions in Samagitia we can do. The next settlement policy: 3 magistrates, 2 colonists. Whoa. I mean, we get both magistrates and colonists at a really good rate. That we get magistrates at a really good rate is also because of our, you know, form of government, which has a pretty high rate of magistrates. I'll probably be talking more about magistrates at a later point. So we reduce the amount of colonists and magistrates that we get, but get a higher population growth. And we get a bit of infamy now. I mean, I like population growth. Population growth of 10% is not bad, but, you know, local revolt risk even higher, and I'm gonna lose out on colonists and magistrates, even though having magistrates is kind of one of our major advantages. Bring it into a cultural sphere too. That's the other thing. We might have more, you know, issues right now because they're animists and they have a Lithuanian culture, which, well, the other provinces that we have right now are mainly Russian, except the Livland, which is also abandoned the Holy Roman Empire. Will no longer be part of a Holy Roman Empire? What? Really? Oh. Okay. Sure. Where's the Gospel? Okay. Oh geez. Anyway, if I want to enact this policy, I should probably enact it now, though. I'm not entirely sure about this, but I think I'll take it for the plus 10% population growth. Though the rest is pretty horrible, to be honest. But we're probably not gonna need colonists much, so it should be fine. As I said, I plan on being a major land force, you know, around Europe, and not do the same thing as I did with the Hanse, which is, you know, build up a fleet and then start exploring west, because I know there's something there. People back in the day did not, but I know, so I could make use of that knowledge. Anyway, let's enact that settlement policy. We don't have anything anything worthwhile to do with our magistrates anyway. Hope I'm not gonna regret that any time. Anyway, I'll probably regret it at some point, but alright. So we're gonna build some more ships. I really don't like the galleys. They're really ineffective in a fight. Like, they have hull size of 12, which is not bad compared. 10 cannons, and actually faster than a Carrack. Maybe they're actually not that bad. I mean, they're cheap. But since you need a large number of them, you also end up paying quite a bit. So let's build some bigger ships to round out the fleet, I guess. And with some big ships, I mean one. I'll wait for dock, which requires a naval technology 4. Doesn't even matter. Well, let's build a Carrack now. So apparently we have another, or we can revoke it. I see. So we can revoke it anytime if I feel like I need more magistrates again, and or colonists or anything. Also, we get a yearly infamy change. I see. Okay. I have to keep that in mind. Anyway, right now revolts are even more likely. But our missionary guy is working on it. Like, he has a 70% chance, 17% chance each year to convert these seasons. At which point it's gonna become better. I mean, they still have a different culture, but at least they're not gonna be motivated by religion quite as much anymore. Also, it's not a core province for like another almost 50 years. But it's a core province of Lithuania. Alright. Anyway, I was talking about forms of government at some point. Maybe I'll actually get through with that. Anyway. I already mentioned offhand that we have a pretty high rate of magistrates, which is good because we have a high amount of provinces, and every time we want to build a building, we need a magistrate for that too. So, when you become large enough, magistrates are really limiting. So I think that's pretty good. So conversions are a little bit better. Also, we can raise armies pretty cheaply because we have a lot of serfdom and aristocracy, I believe. Check real quick. Yeah, cavalry cost. Oh, and serfdom is infantry cost. Ooh, really cheap, to be honest. So maybe we're not gonna invest more money into ships, but rather train more people now. Another year has passed, by the way. We're still gaining money at a reasonable amount, so let's increase that. We only have 6 more until we reach our support limit, though. Keep that in mind. So, let's... Alright, let's do the same. Then we have 4 more. Our very first mission, which is why I picked that, is, you know, just create an army. We need to have at least 99% of our force limit, or no, we need to have 100% of our force limit. Our force limit is only 14, so we're gonna get there real quick. And once we get there, we get army tradition and prestige, you know, which might help. We'll see. I think it was there were other starting missions that I was looking for, but I think this one is also pretty nice. Anyway, so since some time has passed, we now have pretty decent control of Lübeck. It's also visible in the upper right hand side, where you can see we have 5 traders there, so we make quite a bit of money just based on that. In the year, just because we send out people there, we make 5 dinars, which sounds like it's a lot, but also just sending people there costs money, and we can, you know, lose people. Just they can be thrown out by other traders there, so it's not as significant as you might think. However, since we have a bunch of free merchants right now, I'm also gonna send a couple of guys to Novgorod. Compete chance here is a little bit better. And apparently the Tver Conquest of Yaroslavl is doing rather well. Also, I apologize in advance now for misspelling of names. I'm trying, but you know, there's only so much I can do. Anyway, you can stay here. Anyway, so something more about our form of government that I wanted to talk about. Oh, tech groups. I think I started talking about tech groups. I think the Latin/Western tech group, which includes, you know, most of Western Europe, as you might think, and, you know, Italy. I think also Spain, except the Muslim parts, has the highest tech efficiency of 100%, and then it goes downhill from there. I think there's like an Eastern-ish tech group for Poland and Hungary and Lithuania, which is like 90% or 80%, and it goes downhill really quickly the further you are away. Well, you can also technically start, you know, as an American tribe somewhere in the middle of a continent that's barely It's barely colonized with a few people. Your research is gonna be really slow, and at some point, you know, these freaking Westerners are gonna show up and want to take your stuff. So you need to be aware of that. Anyway, we have another missionary now. The question is, what do I want to do with him? Let's take a look at the religious map again. Interesting. Lithuania has a Catholic state religion, but a lot of provinces are Orthodox. Maybe we can help with that? No, we actually cannot. Cannot send... I see. Well, then we really don't have any function for our missionaries right now. However, we can just send them to the Pope. Huh? I think. Less missionary cost. I should have done that earlier. Let's send people to the Pope. Interesting. I thought we would be able to, you know, send some of our missionaries to the Pope. Anyway, but now I guess is a good time to talk about one other advantage that we have compared to most other states. Because we are a theocracy, we have a pretty high influence on the papacy. Like, one of the cardinals is our guy, and our papal influence is pretty high, which means that that's a pretty decent chance that we get the next cardinal. We have a lot of Catholic provinces and high papal influence, so we're pretty high. England is a little bit higher, Castile and Austria, but they're bigger than us, so that's gonna help, because with the more cardinals we have, the easier it's gonna be to you know, do some things that we want to do. Also, our stability increased, yes, which is why I wanted to go back here. I think I wanted to focus on land, because I really would like to get land for. And I think I wanted to do something else too. Trade. We can build a marketplace. Yeah, I would like to be able to build stuff so we can get a higher income and we have something to do for our magistrates. So let's also do some trade. Alright, gonna focus on these things a little bit until we reach level 4 at least. The earlier we get those, the better, I think. Alright. That carriage is still being built. Oh jeez. Anyway, the papal influence will also use for other things. Let's pause for that so that I can focus on explaining that and not, you know, be aware of the game going on. Declaring wars is not quite as easy as you think. That you can just go here to, let's say, Lithuania and say, you know, let's go to war, bitch. I mean, I probably shouldn't use the B word. Let's go to war, man, right? Because, you know, because if we just do that, we have no casus belli. We really have no reason to go to war with them, you know? They don't particularly own anything that was historically ours, so there's really no reason for us to go to war with them, and other people might just say, oh, what kind of aggressive pig is that? He just goes to war with random people? Also, they might have allies, you know? Apparently Lithuania is allied with Poland and Austria. Thankfully, Austria is quite a bit away now, but scary. So we can't just go and declare war on people, because we really have no casus belli, I believe, right now. However, with enough of a papal influence, we can become the papal controller. Currently, that's Austria. If we become the papal controller, we can excommunicate someone. Damn, Austria just got 3 new people. 3 of the new cardinals. Jesus. Well, if we control the papacy, we can basically excommunicate a ruler, say he's a really bad Christian, and do excommunicating him because we Heard bad things about him, not totally because we, want to take his stuff. Not because of that at all. So that would give us a pretty decent chance of having a shot at, gaining some form of casus belli. Other things that we could do is, depending on our leader is not a very diplomatic guy, sadly. If we had a highly diplomatic leader, we could also get some casus belli from other things, but we don't really have that. By boundary disputes, more accurately. So we're probably not gonna get much of those, but... Anyway, I guess this is a good point as any to stop. They're apparently won and took control of Yaroslavl. Good for them. I mean, they're our allies and all, So our relations with them will deteriorate over time. If we had a more diplomatic ruler. Damn it. Oh yeah. Rulers reign until death. Yeah. It's gonna be fun because I probably want to assign my ruler to a regiment. I mean, we can, I believe that's here. Convert our ruler. We can make a military commander out of our ruler. So Conrad, our ruler, is now also a military commander. He's that bad, to be honest. He can take care of, he can take command of these people here. The army's all set up. And apparently I want him to die because of this, because he's a terrible diplomat. He's a terrible diplomat. I'd like to change that. One good thing about the Hanse, because they have an elective system, is that every couple of years you could basically just pick someone. Basically you get to pick between keeping your current ruler or pick one that has supposedly a high value in administration, or another that has a supposedly high value in military matters, or one that has high value in diplomacy. Sometimes they can also have all of these things to a pretty high degree. So it's not necessarily exclusive, and in my experience, it led to some really amazing leaders. So I probably need to work with less here. Well, we probably need to get used to that. However, we have a powerful military. So, in the next episode, we're gonna continue to create our army. It's not really much left to recruit. I think we can recruit like 2 more people, and we're at our support limit. Also, I didn't mention that when we recruit people earlier, so I'm gonna do it right now. We have this manpower indicator here, which is kind of our number of available men that can be used, that can be trained into, into service. It's gonna regenerate slowly. Like, we get 103 each month right now, and we have a pool that's just gonna stay around if we don't recruit people. Also, if our armies lose people, they need to be reinforced. They're also gonna draw people away from the manpower, so from the manpower pool. So we need to be aware of that. So next time we're gonna build up our military some more, and maybe we'll get to go to war with someone. We have a couple of allies in the region. Maybe one of them decides to do stuff. I don't know. We'll see that next time. Have a good one.